You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host, Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts, Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
You are listening to The Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, May 8th show. You can also listen to our podcast on Facebook Premiere Show. I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey, still riding solo. Tina's partying somewhere else out of town, but God bless her, she deserves it. We bring in studio each week the best of the best experts in local market on everything money. I'm here to help you in today's economy. And now in studio, Vanessa Linenberger of Mindfully Smart Finance. Do you have a financial coach in your circle right here on 1150 AM KKNW? See, Vanessa, that's the 3 hours of sleep in me. It's really tough. I'm struggling on just the small tasks. So bear with me here. We're going to get there eventually. But starting out, Vanessa, I just want to be curious on what is a financial coach, because I'm sure there's plenty of definitions out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of financial coaching isn't something that a lot of people are aware of or even know that it exists. Everyone knows what a financial advisor is, a CPA, a bookkeeper, but coaching is somewhat new. And I think a lot of people are realizing that it's something that they need. So a lack of financial security and success comes from low financial literacy. And kind of like what I was saying before, unless you have parents who are teaching it to you, it's not something that's really taught in schools. So it's just not something that a lot of people have the opportunity to learn about. So it sets a lot of people back and leaves them living paycheck to paycheck when they really don't need to be. And financial coaching can come in and kind of fill that knowledge gap, provide them with some tools and knowledge, help them set some goals, and kind of like what Terry was saying, asking a lot of questions because people don't really know where to even really begin or what directions to go. So kind of providing that guidance for them so that they can make their money work more for them, and they can get further in life so that they're not stressed out about money all the time.
Yeah, Vanessa, it bugs me so much to think that no matter where you get your education, they just skip like balancing checkbooks, like the 101s, credit's kind of important. I think more important than how to multiply even, I would say. So we got calculators. I mean, maybe that's a bad analogy, but the point is it's super important and it's gone. So it's so important what you're doing to help people. And I think a lot of times they overthink it, and they're trying to think about how they retire when really they just need to start from the basics and build up to that. So what a fantastic service that you offer. So what's your background and how did you begin this financial coaching journey?
Yeah, so I have worked in corporate accounting for the last 10 years and I have my CPA. And kind of like what I was saying before is I really like this work, but it was just not quite as satisfying. And I wanted to be able to use this skill and knowledge that I've gained to help other people. So through helping some family and friends, I realized that this is a really great opportunity. And then started Googling like different things that I could be doing and stumbled across financial coaching, because even me as an accountant and CPA, I didn't know that it was a thing. And so I joined up with some other financial coaches. It's a network of coaches across the country called Coach Connections. And through them, I was able to kind of leverage all of their decades of experience and knowledge and setting up some really great processes and systems so that I could jump right in and help my clients even faster.
Well, and fun fact about me, Vanessa, I actually was a financial advisor for a Fortune 100 company for 5 years. And I'll tell you, in my business, something that was completely skipped for especially those that didn't want to deal with it is just the personal finance piece. That 101 piece is gone. So you take people, some of these guys are taking people in their offices and saying, how much money do you want to invest, without even having an understanding of where their finances are. I wasn't that way. Emergency savings and things were important to me, not lining my pockets with people's money. It's not about getting paid. It's about helping people. And it's always been my mission. But that piece is completely skipped. And a lot of people don't realize it. So it's huge to come see Vanessa, get your ducks in a row, and then go see a financial advisor who can put some investments after you've already trained your brain to get on that correct path. So could you elaborate on that, Vanessa? What is, in your opinion, the difference between a financial coach and a financial advisor?
Yes, exactly everything you just said. And I love that you picked that up like in this short amount of time, because a lot of people have a hard time, maybe because you're an advisor, so it's a little bit easier. But they do have a hard time understanding what the difference is. And that is exactly what it is. Like, I'm going to be advisors want to help people. And I don't think the majority of them are trying to sell you something you don't need. However, their time and their efficiency, it's just not set up to help them create a budget or help them set goals or other things outside of the products that they might sell. So while you might find a really great advisor who will sit down and take that time with you, not a lot of them do, because it's just not a good use of their time. So being able to hire a coach to work with you, getting all of the basics set up, helping you think about what you really want your life to look like, and work towards aligning your spending with your goals. I'm huge on intentional spending. I feel like a lot of people think that they can't afford things, but they really can. It's just that they go to the store and they're like, oh, I'm at Target and I don't really need anything. But 20 minutes later, I left with, a cart full of things and spent $250. Like, that never happened to me. So I think it's just a lot about like being more cognizant of where your money is going and making sure that your spending aligns with your goals and values.
I love that. I think you hit on the head with the time. That's the main thing with financial advisors. There's a lot that they need to do, and it's a lot of time for what you do. And actually, the majority of the lifting, the investing part's easy. It's like, what's your risk tolerance? Fill this out. Here's where we can diversify your portfolio. A lot of the heavy lifting you're doing, which is huge. Yeah. So what are the benefits of a coach specifically? And you referred to as a financial coach, which is very important, I think, and something we should share with our listeners.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's all kinds of different coaches, but as a financial coach, I'm going to focus on your finances. And there's a lot of different benefits of working with a financial coach. You're going to receive a wealth of knowledge and different tools to help you reach your goals. But that one-on-one guidance is the biggest thing, because you can definitely read books and take courses and learn everything on your own. But if you want that one-on-one and experience and being able to have someone really tailor your needs, that's where it's going to be great to have a coach. The other piece of it is accountability. So setting goals and knowing what you need to do is one thing, but then actually following through and sticking to it is so hard. So having that person that is a third party, first of all, because if I'm working with couples, a lot of times there's a lot of emotion and trying to work through these things together. I'm coming in as an outside person who's not emotionally invested in whatever decisions that they choose. So I can guide them through the process, hold them accountable to whatever decisions that they decide to come to, whatever decisions they come to, and help them reach their goal.
That's awesome. That could be like a safe place for people because money is like, I don't know where it falls on the list of divorce, but I know it's up there.
Oh, yeah.
And to solve that problem where you can have a third party, because, I think it just comes back to communication and between the people on such an emotional subject. So to have somebody in the middle as a mediator to get both sides. And I also love how it's not a negative thing. Like some people think about saving money, I'm going to suffer, right? It's like a diet. I'm going to starve to death. That's not the case. Like, in fact, you could find more money than you ever had before if you dig and are intentional about where you spend it. And that's where you come in to help these people. So that's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of like stigma. I don't know if stigma is the right word, but like people hate the word budget. Like you say budget and they just shut down. So try to call it a spending plan, but because spending plan kind of gives you this feeling of like, oh, I'm going to plan out where I'm spending my money. And that's what you're doing. And I'm huge on like I said, intentional spending, and your money is your money. Like how you spend it is up to you. So if your goal is to buy a house and we're working towards that goal, great, let's do that. But if you are like, nope, I want to rent and I want to travel the world, then great, let's do that. Like, I don't feel like there's obviously some things that you should and shouldn't do. You should have an emergency fund. You should be preparing yourself for retirement in your future. But there are a lot of things that just because your friend is doing it doesn't mean you need to be doing it. Your financial journey is your own.
I love that. A lot of people just sit there and suffer. And the reality is, if you plan, you could have like an escalated life that's so much better for you rather than just kind of dealing with it as it comes. It's like the ship without the rudder. I mean, if you don't have a goal or a direction, what are you going to do? You need a plan for everything in life. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have some goals. I would just be, who knows what I'd be doing at this point. So what is there a specific type of client you work with, Vanessa?
So I work mostly with people who make decent money, but still feel like they aren't getting ahead. So they have maybe been working in their career. Initially, when I started the business, I was focused on people who were just getting started in their career, maybe the first 5 years or less. And they were like, oh, now I have money and I need to figure out what I want to do with it. But now that I've been working the business, I'm realizing what actually happens is people have been working for 10 or 15 years. Now their kids are a little bit more older and they've got some cycles to actually spend on other things. And they're like, oh, I'm 45 and I don't actually have any idea if I'm set up for retirement or not. So I work with those people who are wanting to make sure that they're doing the things that they should be doing now so that when they retire, they can retire and they aren't having to work until they're 80.
Yeah, I did that on a money chat once and did the math about like the earlier you start, how big of a difference it makes with compound interest. So don't bury your head, people. Like attack it now because it'll be so much easier than waiting. Yeah. And we see a lot of income creep in our business where people make more money and then get in more debt. And like I have people that make $50,000 a year that have more money than people that make $200,000 a year. It's shocking, exactly. But this really happens. So more reason to talk to you and get a plan in place. So what does working with a financial coach actually look like, Vanessa, as far as a process?
Yeah, so I do first I do a consultation with everyone that I meet with first to make sure that it's a good fit on both sides. They need to feel comfortable with me. And I also want to make sure that they are in a place to actually receive coaching and make the changes that need to be made. And then from there, it's a 3-month, I work with personal finance clients. And then I also do small business. Today, I'm more focusing on personal finance. So working with those individuals or couples, I work with them for 3 months. And the people that I've worked with, it feels like after 3 months, they really get a handle on everything and they're really kind of getting in the groove. So then after that, we can meet as often as they want. If they feel like they need more hand-holding after that, I can continue meeting with them every other week, but most of them it's either quarterly or monthly.
I love that. And don't forget you're a CPA too. We can't forget that part. That's a big deal. So you got all of it covered for everybody. That's not a small piece to jump over because CPAs are extremely important in life. Let me tell you. Unfortunately, we're down to 1 minute, Vanessa. So before we go, I'm going to leave you with one last question. What kind of successes have your past clients seen? Where have you seen your successes? If you have any stories or anything specific you want to share.
Yeah, so my clients have gained an immense amount of confidence in their financial knowledge and going from feeling anxious and overwhelmed to feeling empowered and in control. So in one situation, I had a client who was like, I don't know that, my husband's changing jobs and I don't know if we're going to be able to afford where we live. And we kind of sat down and ran the numbers and organized their finances and prioritized what was really important. And in a few months, they moved and they actually bought a house. So it just goes to show that you probably have more than you really think.
Yeah, people don't realize when you focus on something like that, you can get it done. You're amazing. You're empowered. Get out there and you can make things happen. Just come up with a plan and get some help. It's okay to get some help sometimes, people. So thank you so much for being on our show.
Yeah,